Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum everyone. So this is yet another video on your problems that you are facing in chapter number 6, questions that are provided to you at the end of chapter number 6. This particular short video is particularly addressing the issues that you have faced in question number 16 of chapter number 6, 6th edition of book Gilead. So let's read the question first. The question says that you are to write a program that generates So you are to write a program that generates a vector with 20 random integer elements with integers between 10 and 30. Now here I would like to pause and I will not read the question further because as you might have noticed, I have not covered the random integer elements part in your chapter when we were covering arrays. So it's not a big deal. We are going to cover it now. So what are random elements? Let us understand. Random elements, as the name suggests, they are very, very randomly chosen. Okay? And there are certain functions which are going to, in MATLAB in specific, which are going to help you generate the random numbers. Acha, mind you, since the numbers are random, every time that you are going to run the command, every time that you are going to execute the command, that particular random number is going to be entirely different. Okay? So if you are going to run it now, for example, let's say the number is coming out to be 10. The next time you're going to run the program, even after a few seconds, then that number is going to change. Now the random elements have equal probability of occurring, right? So the probability of occurrence of one number is equal to the probability of any other number, right? So for example, 1 key occurrence, 2 key occurrence is equally. The probability of occurring any number, any random number is equal, right? Now, so what is that one function that will help us generate random? And mind you, the question is asking you to generate a random integer. One thing. Second, the question is asking you that your random integer should be between 10 and 30. Fine. Now, I will let you know here how do we use this random integer, what function do we use to generate random numbers first. So what I'm going to do first is, So I'm going to tell you first how to generate the random numbers, what function is directed, what function is used to generate the random numbers. Mind you, not general random numbers, random integer numbers. So the function that will help you in generating a random number is randi. So random I integer. So randi is that function which is going to help you generate random numbers. Now mind you, there is a range that is given. So the randi function asks you within parentheses, number one, within parentheses, because it's a function, right? So right after the function, you're going to make use of parentheses. Now within the parentheses, you are going to write certain input arguments. The very, very first input arguments are the range. So it's the range, in fact. So what is that range? If you notice, the question says that your random integers should vary from 10 to 30. So the range is 10 to 30. So this range, any lower limit and upper limit, you're going to give within parentheses and within the square brackets like this. So this is your interval of the random integers that you want. So all your random numbers, for example, if I assign a variable, let's call that variable as x, and I'm going to show you every time I'm going to run it. See, a number x is 16. Now if I'll run it the next time, see another number 19, yet it is within the range of 10 and 30 that you have specified. Next time that I've run this command, it gives a value of 14. Again 16, 19, 14, all they lie within the range of 10, between 10 and 30. But the question is asking you to generate a vector of 20 random integers. So what you will do next is, you will define the order of a matrix. Now mind you, when we are talking about a vector, we are essentially talking about, let's call a row vector for example. So we are essentially talking about, if we are talking about a row vector here, row vector has how many rows? One row, and 20 such elements ka matlab would be that you are generating a row vector of the order 1 by 20 in our case, because the question has specified that you want to have 20 such elements. So what I'm going to do next is, let's have this clear comma CLC. So it will erase all these the values of x's. Mind you, when I'm not written down any order, so it is giving only one value of x each time I'm running this command. Since I want a row vector of 1 row and 20 columns, what I would do is I will give certain other input parameters, those input arguments. Those input arguments are going to be number 1, the row number. I want the row number to be equal to 1, and I want the column number to be equal to 20. So now when I'll run this command, notice it is going to give me 20 such elements which are very, very random, which are within the range of 10 and 30. So 27, 14, see, they're very, very random, and they're all lying between the range of 10 and 30 that you've specified, and the vector x is of the order 1 by 20 that you've specified here. Now notice when I'll rerun the command, notice the first 3 elements, for example, are 27, 14 and 14. When I'll rerun the command, notice how the first 3 elements, in fact all the other elements, have changed. So hence the term random. So that answers the first part of the question, that you are to generate a vector with 20 random integer elements with the integers between 10 and 30. Now moving on to the next. Now the next part says that you are to replace all the elements that are not even, right? That are not even integers with random integers between 10 and 30. So for example, if I open up my command window, notice the very first integer is an even integer. The second integer is also an even integer. The third integer, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh here in my case is not an even integer. So the question part B is specifying that you are to replace all those elements that are not even integers. Okay? Again with those numbers, with the random integers which are between 10 and 30. So that means I would have to replace 11 with another number which should be even. So if it's not even, because random numbers, when you're going to write out the command randi, it is going to replace it with any integer that lies between 10 and 30, and that integer can be even, that integer can be odd. So the next part says is, notice that you are to repeat part B until all the elements are even integers. That means, please understand, that if the next time you run the command and you replace 11 with another integer, with another random integer, and it comes out to be 13, you have to redo it. You have to redo it until and unless an even integer is replaced here, right? So 11 is replaced by any other number which is an even integer lying between the range of 10 and 30. So you have to give as many tries as possible in order to make sure that 11 becomes any other even integer. Then comes 15. 15 you'll have to replace again as many times till you obtain an even integer here. 26 needs not to be replaced. 20 needs not to be replaced. 29 needs to be replaced. So again 29 will be replaced by any integer which is even, any other integer which is even, which lies between the range of 10 and 30. Now the next part says that the program should also count how many times B is repeated before all the elements are even integers. So you need to tell, you need to count, you need to have a teller, right, which will tell you how many times you had to repeat in order to make sure that all your elements in the vector, in our case is x, in our vector x, have become even. So how many times did you have to repeat making it? Fine. Now what we are going to do next is, so this is for example my vector x, right? So I will be checking each individual element one by one. Now how many elements there are here? In our case it's 20. We have defined it already, right? So I will be checking each integer, each element one by one. So I'll be checking whether this is even. If it is not, I do not need it to be replaced. Is it even? Yes, so I don't need it to be replaced. Is it even? Yes, I don't want it to be replaced. So I'll be checking each and every single element in X till I reach up that element which is not even, in other words, which is odd.